That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh God, it's a toad, son. It's a toad, dude.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.
Hello.
What up?
Hello.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I didn't hear the intro music.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't hear it. I don't know what's going on.
Didn't like you. I heard it just fine.
What up, Tim? What's going on, Tim? Always joining us for Fishing Friday Lives. Ben's going to join us here in a little bit. We got Pete over at his crib. I'm out in the studio. And yeah, while we're waiting for everyone to jump on, let's get those partnerships shout outs out of the way here. So head on over to One Cast Fishing and get your hands on all the snagless jigs, weedless nets, soft plastics, long neck hooks, and all that good stuff. Use the code TheOneCast, all one word at checkout. Use that link we always provide you. Head on over to Hobie Eyewear and save some money at checkout. Get your hands on all the different frames and lenses they have to offer. Check out those new Mojo floats, man. I've been rocking those. They got that new anti-fog vent that's in the top of them. I really like that that new design. They got some pretty cool stuff on the horizon, so be on the lookout for that. While you're on your phone, go to your Play Store, download Deep Dive. Deep Dive app has you covered with all the different and latest features to help you break down a body of water. They got that new geosatellite imagery, which is pretty cool. Satellite imagery is really what it is. They got the inflows, outflows. They got water draw, so cubic feet per second, depending on if you're on one of those types of lakes. Best areas, bait tool selection, all that good stuff. Pay for that annual subscription, $80 a year, and stay up to date with the latest and greatest. If you're going to move to Central North Carolina, you want to hit up Mr. Uncle Terry himself, Terry Carpenter. You can reach him at carpentert@hpw.com. He's a licensed real estate agent here in Central North Carolina with Howard Perry Wilson and Caldwell Banker. He's also a bass fisherman, and we like that about Uncle Terry. And then finally, Waymeyer Distribution. I'm holding it up right this time. Out of Indianapolis, Indiana, they got all of your boat, trailer, part requirements and needs. I always tag them in everything when I go through the social media posts and those forums. Everyone's having trailer problems. I'm like, hey, call 1-800-434-4824. You're going to get a hold of a customer service representative, and they're going to take care of all of your boat trailer needs. I can promise you they've been helping out touring anglers for a long time. Pete, myself, Ben, we are really proud to have those guys on board with the One Cast. Nick Kincaid, shout out to you for introducing us to Waymeyer at the Bassmaster Classic, man. So thanks for jumping on. So that is the partners. Nick Kincaid's the owner of Drop Zone Tackle, now out of North Carolina. Got some pretty cool stuff. Check out his website and his social media and all that stuff. He's got some rattling Zika rigs and some rattling drop shot weights and some rattling shaky heads and some rattling minnow heads, the SS Minnow, and they pair really well with that One Cast Fishing 3.5-inch stinger. And we had a pretty fun day working those baits over some schooling bass or some floaters and stuff. So, yeah, man. Pete, how was your day today?
Oh, it was good, man. Yep, good day.
Good day?
Yeah, what'd you do? Sleep all day?
Man, I'll tell you what. I got up at a whopping 8:45 this morning, living that retired life, guys. Got up this morning and let the dog out, played fetch for a little bit. We got a little bit of rain last night, so that was good. Good to see some rainfall. We need a heck of a lot more of it. I think you and I were talking, Pete. We need about 10 plus inches of that rain sustained so that some of these lakes will fill back up because we're in that drought. I know other parts of the country are also facing the same challenges, but we're selfish and we care about bass fishing, so that's really what matters to us. I know the farmers have been praying for rain too, so keep your fingers crossed, do the rain dance, say a prayer, do whatever you need to do. We need some rain to come here. But yeah, got up, let the dog out, played some fetch, had a couple cups of coffee, took a trip up to Elevate Outdoors to see our friends over there, talked to Big Mike and Jason. Picked up a couple things that we're going to need for our upcoming Fishers and Men tournament. Swung by Dunham's and picked the wife up a pair of rain boots. She's going to go out to Lake Gaston with me tomorrow and run around the lake. Last time she did that for pre-practice, we landed on a mega load of them that you and I used for the tournament. So I want to, maybe that's a tradition that we got to keep going. So pretty cool to have her ride along with me tomorrow. Yeah, man, that's pretty much it. My daughter went off to work today, not at an establishment. She's going to be doing some animal and babysitting. Good gracious, trusting her with a child. Just kidding. She's a pretty good person. So she's going to go watch some kids overnight, make a little bit of cash money. So, yeah, that's what's been going on. What's up, Ben?
What's going on?
Sitting here talking to you. That's what's going on.
What I missed so far?
We did partnership shout outs, and then Pete was asking me what I did today, and I gave him a full rundown. I'm sure everyone loves to hear what Trey did on his retired day.
Yeah, which is, as you would expect, absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. I got the boat backed up close to the boat and trailer, but I did not connect it. Tim asks, Pete, now that you've been in your new house for several months, we need to update with the progress of the tackle wall. Trey, congratulations on your daughter's graduation. Appreciate that, Tim. Yeah, man, it was a special moment. She graduated with honors. She did a really good job, and we're going to be sending her off to college here in the next few months, and she can go get a real fast taste of the real world. Kind of not the real world, but it's going to hopefully set the conditions and stuff. So we're excited to turn her room into something more productive. Just kidding. It's going to be there when she comes back.
Yeah, the tackle wall is still a work in progress, as it will be forever, because I keep buying tackle and using tackle faster than I can put it on the wall. So I have boxes upon boxes of tackle currently all throughout my garage that I need to put away, and I have not. So eventually I'll get to it once it's not fishing season anymore, which is never. So
Tim, I'll put it to you this way, brother. There's so much tackle in Pete's garage, his boat doesn't even go in there anymore.
No, I don't even put it in there anymore. It doesn't. There's too much stuff in there for me to put my boat in it now. So I'm building a carport here in the not too distant future, which that's where I'll park it. Just makes more sense. So frees up the garage, because then my wife can park in there. She's got her kayak and trailer in there now, and then I'll put the boat in the
but you got a good cover on the boat and everything. And honestly, like it's all right. It's a heck of a lot more accessible. I was thinking about that too. I think with the new boat, in this, I probably, well, A, I don't know if I'll be able to put it in here, but B, like the way that Seth kind of has his setup with that external awning and stuff like that enclosed. Like I really like that design. So I might go that route, but Ben,
like a lean-to on the side.
Not a lean-to. It's one of the, you can get them at Harbor Freight. They're like $230. It's just a big canvas deal. It seems to be doing a pretty good job for Seth and his Nitro Z20. So I don't see why we can't do the same thing. So
I was going to do one of those. I have to level a spot off anyway. So I'm just going to do a dual carport. That way I can park my truck under it too.
I think the biggest thing with, obviously we don't get the harsh winters like the North does. I mean, we got a pretty good one this year, but, the biggest thing in the South with leaving a boat outside, it's the sun, man. Like it's the sun that really does all of the damage. Outside of a cat jumping in your darn boat and pissing in the seat, which happened to me when we were up at Kerr Lake. But nevertheless,
and the rain, especially if you got carpet, but more importantly for down here, the pollen.
The pollen can get in every, but you're right, Ben. Like that pollen is absolutely disgusting,
because
especially when it gets wet.
And if it's rained, and if you don't have a boat cover on it or something, then it's just nasty. So
yeah.
So we can see a 20-pound sack out of Lay Lake for the MPFL tomorrow. I don't know, Nick. I haven't followed the MPFL too much for this one. I just haven't had time.
I just pulled up the.
Go ahead, Ben.
The leaderboard there after today.
Yeah,
Alex Davis, 37-10 is leading.
19-18, 19-16. Patrick Walters is right there with 35. You never want to see him within 2 pounds. Drew Cook's up there. Brandon Cobb, KJ Queen, Wesley Gore, John Cox, Jason Burrows, Hank Cherry, Jared Spoor, Buddy Gross, Fred Rumbanis, Randall Tharp. Yep. Pretty much how I figured it would be. It's been grimy. I know that. Pretty grindy for a lot of folks. A few guys have landed on them.
Yeah. It's so I got to watch it, since I have no job. I got to watch quite a bit of the live stream. And if you guys are trying to watch the MPFL live stream, it's all on YouTube day 2, and then they'll have it tomorrow. They had Derek Lettinen on live, Alex Davis on live, Patrick Walters on live. I can't remember the other guys, but anyways, it was so Nick, there is a possibility of seeing a 20-pound sack tomorrow, for sure. But it's probably going to be maybe one person, maybe.
Are they getting rain and stuff down there like we did, or we are cooling down a little bit? I don't know.
It rained all day today, didn't it? I saw they were showing Patrick Walters. It was pouring down rain. He was wearing rain gear.
Yeah.
So.
It's definitely been overcast, and it's definitely rained a little bit for sure. I was actually going to talk about that MPFL tournament, man, because I called my buddy, I called Josh's wife earlier just to check on him, see how he's doing and stuff. The Fishing Chaos wasn't updating. A lot of guys some guys were having issues with it updating. And Pete, you're absolutely right, man. It's been really, really grimy for a lot of the field and stuff like that. The guys that are on them, they're figuring out how to catch those fish. And I text Pete earlier and I was like, man, that urchin style bait, that koiki, that prickly pear, it's really playing a huge role in a lot of these guys. And how
I turned it on after you said that for about 3 minutes and watched Drew Cook catch like 3 on it in a row, just fishing it on a weed edge. And I was like, yep, that stupid thing's taking over. So
yep. It's 100% happening. So what I thought was interesting, though, is you had Alex Davis, who's obviously leading the tournament right now. He's fishing in urchin style bait, one of the bigger ones, either the 19 or 17 millimeter ones. And he's fishing on a bait caster, and he's working it a very certain way. And it makes sense. These fish are on a cloudy day. They move outside of that grass. They're roaming the grass lines and stuff. I think there is a bluegill spawn potentially going on right now down there from hearing Patrick Walters talk a little bit. So you got both small, it's not smallmouth, spotted bass and largemouth bass cruising the outside of those grass lines, just hunting, man. And that sea urchin style bait seems to be playing a huge role for like Alex Davis, Drew Cook, Patrick Walters and stuff. But then Derek Lettinen, on the other hand, who's sitting in second right now, and he has a shot at winning this thing too. He went old school, man. He was fishing, right next to the bridge, behind the bridge, in those current seams and those creek channel swings, and he was throwing a good old Carolina rig, baby. He was throwing a deep plug, and he was throwing a Carolina rig, and he put a really good bag together today. I think Derek is in a really good position because he's got fish coming to him. I think I don't know how much fish, and I know Drew Cook was talking about it earlier on live. Like, he's like, man, I don't know if I can get 3 days out of this. And so those guys are making their milk runs in the shallow, but I wouldn't put it past any of those guys like Drew Cook and Patrick Walters to having a good offshore game going on for day 3 and stuff like that, where they know fish are going to. So, but there's a possibility of seeing a 20-pound sack tomorrow, but it was kind of cool. I mean, guys were catching them on swim jigs. They were catching them on frogs. They were catching them on koiki style baits. They were catching them on Carolina rigs, plugs. So kind of a little bit of the whole tackle box is playing a role in that event.
Yeah, I'm throwing a koiki ball all day tomorrow. It's the only thing I'm throwing.
I hear you.
I want to get out so bad.
See if they'll eat it. Ben, Core Sound Rods, make sure you check them out. So when you're tournament fishing and you're trying to make a game plan in your head, but your fishing partner enjoys talking, how do you handle that situation nicely?
I'll tell you.
I tell them to shut the F up, or I get a new fishing partner.
This is what I do. My dad loves to talk. My father-in-law loves to talk. I just tune them out. Like,
yeah.
They can talk all they want, and I'd be like, yeah, type of deal. I've probably done it to you, Trey, or stuff too. Like when we fish, like I get a habit. I get focused, and I'll just kind of like tune it out and not really kind of half paying attention, but I'm really focusing on thinking of whatever.
And by liking to talk, I mean the sound of silence seems to make them nervous, so they just continue to talk. Yeah, I'd probably drown them in the lake. So, I don't know.
I can tell you from experience, like Pete is a man of silence on the boat, right? Like for the most part. And I like to talk, but I also will talk or crack jokes or whatever until we figure it out. Right. Like as we're searching and moving and trying to dial in really what's going on. And I'm real bad about like, I'll sing random dumb songs and stuff like that, or
worst.
Worst. Yeah, I will do it, but it makes you laugh. It makes you laugh. You can't lie. Because we're
the opposites. You do that. You talk and joke and all that until we get on them, and then once I get on them, I calm down, and then I talk and laugh.
Start talking.
Yeah, singing random stupid songs.
But dude, but Ben making that comment from Core Sound, who makes awesome fishing rods. If you guys haven't checked his social medias out, go to Core Sound Custom Lures or Custom Rods and check out his stuff that he's got. But I have been in the boat where there's like somebody who just never shutties, just keeps going and going and going. You're like,
yeah, dude. I think when you're talking about a tournament, you've just got to. I mean, if you're randomly paired with a co, it's a little bit harder. I think I'd probably have a conversation, but like, I need you to chill for a minute. Like I'm trying to run this plan through my head, and your constant droning in my ear is making it a bit tough for me to figure out exactly, what I want to do. But if I can pick my partner and they do that, that'd probably be the only tournament I ever fished with that individual.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those deals where, like, if you have power poles on your boat and you got to have power poles or Raptors, if they go to take a pee off the back of the boat, maybe you hit that down button on them and they go take a dip for a minute and then they come back up really humbled and stuff like that. So you could maybe accidentally purposely do that. But yeah, man. And I don't, that brings up a good point though. Like even guys that fish like, the Toyota series and the old style of Bassmaster Opens, they don't have co's anymore. And FLW back in the day, like there's a lot of talking going on, but maybe people don't hear it. And that talking is going on between your two ears, right? Like you're trying to go through the entire process of what a bass may be doing and why they're doing it and where they're doing it. And so everything is like going on inside your head, especially if you're the operator on the boat. Like you're like, weather conditions, seasonal patterns, wind direction, like everything's going on. You're like, all right, dude, what do we freaking do? Especially if you go hours and hours and hours without catching them. And you're like, dude, I'm so lost. And the guy next to you was like, bah, 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 bah. You know what I did last week? So, but yeah, Ben, was that a little teaser there?
Well, yeah, I was trying to get photos of the of my wrap because I want to tease. So for everyone, a lot of you guys listening, like my boat, I'm getting sea decking down and a wrap down. There's a quick preview right there. So I was going to show it off because it's just taking, it's taking a while to get all this stuff done. The wrap was fast.
Yeah.
The decking stuff is taking time because they got to get all the carpet and measured everything and do a lot. But
when's it going to be in? Did they say?
Hopefully within a couple of weeks or so. I'm hoping. I took it back to them today, but that's the wrap there for everyone watching. So.
It looks good, man. So you got one cast fishing right there under the driver's side console, and then you got the one cast behind the wheel well, and then that decking is going to look really good too. Eric said I would actually ask if they prefer silence. I can chat, but I can always shut and fish. No, it's good, man. Like, and you make a good point, Eric. Read the room, like read the situation, especially if you see your boater getting extremely frustrated with what's going on, and it's not even a team deal. Especially if you're a true co-angler and you're not in a team and your boater's getting super frustrated, man. Like that's one of those things like, all right, do I shut up or do I be like, hey dude, it's going to be all right? Because some people get even more freaked out when you're like, hey dude, just calm down. Like I am calm, dude.
I am calm.
Don't tell me.
Yeah. Y'all make sure you check out Eric's Brother Earth Baits is the name of his little bait company. He makes some pretty sick soft plastics, some custom painted big baits. He made a really cool rat for me, which I've thrown a bit down at the Roanoke River. It hasn't gotten bit yet. I haven't been down there in the right conditions. That rat's really good, like in the rain. So hopefully, maybe we go over there for our annual trip here in a couple weeks, and maybe we'll get a day where it'll rain a little bit, and I can chuck that bad boy.
Do you make a Koike style rat?
He just ordered. He did just send me a picture of his new mold, and he will have Koike baits. And Eric. I think what's really cool about Eric's baits is like he's got the Bellows Guild similar mold, and he buys the baits and he figures out how they do it and then mirrors the plastic. So you're getting very close to like what the manufacturer is creating, which sometimes is the difference, right? Like that's what some of the complaints with some of the Quickie Ball knockoffs is, like the plastic is different. It doesn't have the same action, blah, blah. There's a few out there, like the Hags Prickly Pear has done a really good job of mimicking the full cast. And you can also find them still for like $8 a piece instead of the 250.
I know. I ordered 8 of them today.
So did I. I ordered 8 more today as well because they were in stock. You can check them out on Shields. Shields, if you're looking for the Quickie style bait. They do a good job. Get good colors. I've got a couple tied on. I'm going to chuck around a little bit tomorrow if unless they're eating top water all day since it's supposed to be overcast and rainy. Yeah, they might be eating top water all day more. Right? Yeah, Trey's going deep. I'm going shallow. We're going to figure out exactly what's going on and help dial in from when we actually start practicing next week for our tournament next weekend. So hopefully the weather will keep some of the Memorial Day weekend traffic down some. We can get out there, but I told my neighbor he's going to ride with me and fish. He's Joey. He's got the bug. He's fished twice now with me, and he's already looking for a boat. So going to take him. I know he's looking at it. Going to take him up there, run around a little bit, and just check a bunch of grass and shallow stuff I have up there. So. Pete, last year excited to try Yama Tanuki. Just wondering if you have a review, any success? Yeah, so I have. Like I've caught quite a few on that bait. I don't throw it a ton. I found it to be really good in the spawn. Yeah. Caught a lot of fish off the bed that didn't want to eat anything else because you could pulling it over their head and then letting it fall down to them would drive them crazy. Right? I did catch a couple on Murray. Yeah, I caught a couple in practice on the Yama Tanuki at Murray. I've caught them on Tillery on it. I caught them on the river throwing it around around cypress trees and stuff. I've caught them throwing it up on docks. It's a good bait. It's different. It's not like a go-to that I have to have in the boat, but I have them, and I'll usually throw a package in there. And if I can't figure something out, I don't mind throwing it around just because of the way it falls. And then he said, next question, do you guys have any soft bait modifications you could share? I don't have a bunch. The biggest one I probably do is on a trick worm. If I'm throwing it on a shaky head, I'll break off like a quarter to a half of a toothpick in the tail so that it'll float up and stand up a little bit straighter. There are some brands that have like air pockets in the tail and stuff, and I do throw those, but I've found there's times where they don't want that big fat tail and they like that more streamlined sort of approach you get with the trick worm. So I'll do that on that. Other than that, I don't mess with a whole lot. I might pull some appendages off of some of the baits that got a bunch of them if I want to change the profile a little bit. I'll do it with the Nighthawk quite a bit, where I'll pop some of the appendages off of that to change the profile. Or if I'm throwing it on a buzz bait or something, I want to get rid of those little side I don't even know what you call them. They're like little hand flappers, little side pinchers. I'll pop those off there. Yeah, little flippers. But I don't get too crazy. I mean, maybe some dye from time to time on the tails or on the head. But I'm not a big experimenter.
Bait fuel stuff, scent. It's been a long time. I have during the spawn, like on a hollow body lure. So when we used to have the javelins, I guess the Blackhawks, like you can take a little bit of Alka-Seltzer and stick down there and it'll just bubble up. Kind of the same thing. Like, you know, the little cheap little bait attractors you can buy that are basically, they just throw out there and they just fizz up and stuff.
There's a company making a nail weight looking thing that does that now. I don't remember what it's called. The blood something. They actually put fish blood in it, and it sticks into your bait like a nail weight, and it bubbles and fizzes and does all that.
Berkeley Labs, they got the slime.
That lab series,
that lab series looks pretty cool.
And everybody I've talked to is like, it's legit.
So I think Tim, that's a great question about making like soft plastic modifications. I mean, the toothpick trick is pretty commonly well known, like to make things float. I think and you like with a Yama Tanuki now, Yamamoto makes them where they're threaded with they got threaded skirting material through them now. So there's a Yama Tanuki that looks like a dice bait, but it's got stuff in it, skirting material. So you can do some stuff like that. You can play around with like your Texas rigs and make them kind of hairy, if you will. If you're trying to get that, I would just throw a jig. But really, I think a lot of people, your soft plastic modification a lot of times comes with your weights, like adjusting your weights accordingly, hooking your bait a certain way with like an EWG hook or something, especially like floating worms. Like Pete, I know I'll let the cat out of the bag on that one, but there's a certain way to rig your like a Zoom floating worm, like a trick worm.
Don't share that one.
I won't share. I can't even share it because it's hard to share. But like, if you play around with the way that your hook is modified inside of your bait, where it's hooked, where the hook point is at, and you work your bait through the water, you can see the action like a trick worm. Also, same thing with like a Nighthawk, right? Like if you rig a Nighthawk on a 1/2 ounce flipping weight and you put the peg all the way up against the weight, it's going to have like a very vertical fall on it. But if you maybe rig it with like a 3/8 or a 1/4 and you take your bobber stop and you move it about 2 inches above, well, you're going to get a little bit different action. You're going to get different action out of that. It's not going to fall vertical. It's kind of going to flutter like this until it hits the bottom. So it's not so much modifying the soft plastic, in my opinion, as it is modifying the weight, the bobber stop, rattles, scents. And you asked about scents. I'm not a big scent guy. I only in the spawn, typically when my mind believes that they're holding onto the bait longer because of like bait fuel or something like that. But I have no idea if it even matters, to be brutally honest with you. So yeah. I do believe chartreuse dips do attract fish to help track the bait better. And that has been proven with like stripers and spotted bass. And I'm sure it helps largemouth and smallmouth bites too. But yeah, I think more modifying your hooks, modifying your weights, where your bobber stops are at, all these types of things, trimming your jigs down in a certain way, those kinds of things, they do help.
And along the same lines, Trey, rigging your bait, how you rig your bait, like on a speed worm. Sometimes I'll rig it upside down so that tail is pointing up and not down, so it's a little bit different, just a little bit slightly different action.
Right.
I mean, you can even. It's kind of a weird thing, but you can even do it like on a paddle tail. Depending on the shape of that bait, you can flip it upside down, and that because that tail's up now, it just displaces water a little bit. It's kind of fun to look in the water, but I've caught fish doing it.
Yeah.
Mainly that was because of accident, because I caught a fish and like the plastic came off, but it wasn't like torn up, and I wanted to get right back out there, so I just rigged it real fast. I wasn't paying attention. It was upside down. I was like, oh, let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
And it worked. So, yeah. And then for me, like maybe cutting the paddle tail off on like the stinger for jig head minnowing, or and it's just like cutting pieces off, shortening up the bait to make a smaller profile. I adjust it that way.
Yeah, there are some things like you can cut slits in the side of like a paddle tail swim bait, right? And try to carve out a little. It takes time, but you can carve like little ribs into it to help it displace water differently as it cuts through. That's why I was a huge fan for a long time and still am of some of the 6 Sense soft plastics, because the way that there's soft plastics have different edges on them and stuff. So like when they fall through the water or cut through the water column, they're divine shaky head worms, they're clouts and stuff like that. Like they really do displace water differently. And I have no idea if it helps. It just gives me confidence. But at the same time, dude, Derek Lettinen at the MPFL is dragging the dang lizard. You know what I mean? Like, and that has like little to no action. I mean, it has some action, but
when I am notorious for using this bait until it basically falls apart. So like if I'm fishing a worm and, you get a fish, you hook up, right? It slides up, it gets chewed up. I'll take it off, I'll bite it off, and I'll just keep short, if it gets too short throughout the day, or like if I lose a little appendage or something, or like sometimes if I like lose a crawl on a beaver style, like the warthog, I'll fish it with just one on there.
Yeah. And I mean,
now I do that because I don't necessarily want to take the time. I just want to fish. I go get in the bag. Too, I'm saving them. But the way I justified in my mind, like for fishing wise, is like nothing down there and the water's perfect. Like they're fighting
No.
for survival every single minute. So you're like, how many fish have we, even bass that we bring up, they're like beat up and they're deformed, or none of them look the same. So
How
same
many
thing
crawfish
with,
have you ever caught that are missing a pincher? A lot.
Mm.
A lot of them are missing a pincher, right? So
the bass are going to go after the ones that are weak, you know, just like anything. They're going to go after the
dude, if they
weak
eat a turd,
one.
you know what I mean?
I put a new soft plastic on for every fish.
No,
I know
No.
you do.
no, like tournament I will or something probably. But if I'm fun fishing,
Oh, dude. Unless it's the last one, then I'll bite the head off of it and reuse it. But I'm not doing that. I can't bring myself to do it.
It's a confidence thing too.
As far as scent, like certain times of the year, I've caught enough fish off the bed in my life to tell you that it makes a difference on fish on the bed. They will hold on to it longer if you use a good scent. And then if I'm in the early spring, I'll give a little bit of inside baseball. In the early spring, when you get those rains and it gets high and muddy and they get on that shallow spinnerbait bite up around trees and stuff, I do like to use scent on my spinnerbait, which is kind of not something a lot of people do, but I'll rub it onto the lead head and into the skirt, and I think it makes a difference at that time. That one is a little bit harder to quantify. I know that doing it, I've gotten more bites than I haven't. Could just be in the area that I'm in when I do it versus when I don't. But I feel like when that spring muddy water, they're a little bit less active, and that little bit of scent just gives a little bit of a difference. But outside of that, I don't really mess with it. The Lab series intrigues me because of the way they've built the different scent layers and stuff into that. So when it's more readily available, I'll definitely grab a pack of like the minnows and the finesse worms for drop shot and just see. I'll throw side by side and see if it's getting bit more versus not. We've got some lakes where they've sort of turned off of the jig head minnow because I think they've seen 800 kajillion of them. I'll try that one out there and see if it makes a difference, and run a little science on them with that and just see. But that one definitely intrigues me because of the way they built the various layers with the scent and the max scent, the whatever that liquid scent that they used to buy the jugs of the gulp stuff in there. Like they got all kinds of stuff to where it's like a slimy snail that you take out of a package.
It's gross looking, dude.
Yeah, it is gross looking, but they seem to work.
Nick Kincaid may have a little inside baseball or a little maybe sneak peek at those things. I'm probably letting the cat out of the bag here, Nick, but you're going to need to bring some of those over. Thanks.
I wanted to bring up, this isn't soft plastics, but it's about modifications. Something I do for like most of my moving baits, because a lot of brands, they don't put on the weight or how deep they dive. And so I'll just take a very fine tip Sharpie and I'll write on the bill or something like how deep it dives or what the weight is on it. Just so it's in my tackle box. Cause I know things get tossed around and all the different, not everything's sorted by size. So I'll do that. And I was thinking maybe I should shift to color coding it. So it's just like a red dot, like tiny little red dot in the bill or something for 10 foot and 12 foot.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really OG technique, man. Like you saw that out of the guys like back in the day, like fishing Kentucky Lake, and when it was really, good largemouth ledge fishing and stuff like that. Like guys will do that. They'll color code their deep plugs and or they'll write on them specifically. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, that's an OG technique. I don't do that anymore because I label my boxes. I don't label the bait. So like my boxes are exactly what, 1 to 5 foot diving crankbait, right? Or 6 to 10 foot diving, and then 15 to 25 foot diving.
Oh, see, I want mine like super specific. Like what's the max it's supposed to go to? So, like if it's
and with forward facing now, that really helps. I mean, if you can track your crankbait. And
what I mean by that, like if I like jerk baits, I think the Mega Bass +2 goes down to 13, 14, and +1's like 11 or 12. But like the Rapala one's the same size. Like I can obviously I can tell the difference in the tackle box which one's which, but I may not remember very quickly in my head.
Yeah,
what that brand's deep diving jerkbait's supposed to go to. So,
Mhm.
and sometimes, like if I'm trying to, if I'm scoping over a brush pile, and I just want to get right on top as close as I can, or I don't want to have a chance of actually hitting it, I want to know specifically how deep that thing dives.
Yep. Yep. So what else is going on in the fishing world? Who just won the Open? Did you guys see?
No.
The PGA?
Huh?
No.
No. So Kentucky Lake just wrapped up for the 2026 Bassmaster Open Division 2. And it was won by
Horbersley was doing well.
Huh?
Wasn't Mike doing well?
I don't think Mike's fishing that division, if I'm not mistaken. But Clint Knight, he won that one with 62-2 over 4 days. Tristan McCormick, who fishes Tristan fishes what, BPT? No.
No, not
Of course, Matt Robinson jumped in that thing.
Yeah, Matt Robertson had a top 10. He finished 8th in that one. But yeah, I mean, they had. I'm looking here.
That's
how
pretty
many?
good. Kentucky Lake's making a rebound. I mean, it's still not like the.
Tristan McCormick fishes the Elite Series.
Yeah, he fishes the elites. I'm sorry. Yeah, he jumped in that one. Had a good finish.
Man, ish. Whew.
They had 173, 4, 5,
171 weighed in.
182 people fished that according to their roster.
But 171 weighed in at least.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was good for some and definitely not good for a lot of other people. I didn't catch any of the footage on that one, so I don't have anything to talk about with that. But that was a Grammy one. So I know those guys are probably ready to take a break before the last two Bassmaster Opens of the year. I think Division 2 wraps up in La Crosse, Wisconsin, I believe, and Division 1 we wrap up in Buffalo, New York, in the third week of August, and then that'll solidify. I'm definitely not making the EQs, but that'll definitely solidify the EQ berths at that point. So it'll be interesting to see.
Oh, never mind.
I just got to go win this one so I can go to the Classic. So I just need all of Pete's Lake Erie juice.
It's top 50, right, from each.
So they're gonna do it a little bit different this year. They're definitely gonna take. So there's like averages that they're doing, right? So it's not just the top. It's like the top 50 out of. It's weird how they're doing it, man. So
Top
like
50 out of both divisions, anybody that wins one, and then anybody that's in the elites can fish them.
Oh, so it's no longer a 100-boat field?
No, it's up to. It depends on how many they're cutting from the Elite Series.
So
if anybody that's going to get cut from the elites can fish them to attempt to requalify.
So top 50 points wise
from both divisions. Anybody that wins a tournament,
25 each.
No, top 50. That's 100. 50 and 50 is 100.
Okay,
top 50, top 50 from Division 1, top 50 from Division 2, and then anybody that wins an Open also qualifies. Then anybody in the elites that's on the cut line. I think anybody in the elites can fish them, but the only guys that are going to fish all of them would be anybody that's down near that cut line to try to make it back in.
Yeah. Well, Mike's sitting pretty well right now.
Yeah, he'll make it.
He'll
make it. I mean, he's got one event left, so he should qualify for sure.
What are you fishing? Division 1?
Yeah, Division 1.
Yeah.
Looks like he's gonna make it.
Corsley will be in there. He'd have to really bomb. What's 50 sitting at points wise? 50's at 426. He's got a 50 point. Yeah, he would have to essentially. He's got 481. He would have to finish dead last, and they would have to win to make up enough points to bump him down to the bottom. And that's going to be that's going to be
like 139.
Hey, that's not bad. First time.
Yeah.
First year, but 139 out of 130, 140. No, I know. I'm just teasing, dude. No, it's your first year, man. First year,
dude, it's definitely.
You didn't have a trolling motor one day.
I mean, I didn't catch a limit all year. But,
Yeah, you're gonna
I mean,
tune a good year.
it's not I mean, when you look at it across the board, man, like a lot of these guys are, they're doing really well in one division or they're not doing well in another, or they're doing really well in both. But yeah, it's a stacked field, man. Like it really is. John Branch has a strong shot. He's sitting in 76 right now. He's on the Army outdoor team. Laker Howell's sitting in 102nd in Division One. Division One seems to be a little bit tough on some of the guys, but yeah, it's definitely tough, man. I mean, if I could swing fishing both of them, I'd love to do that, but I think sticking with one division is probably good enough for me because that allows me to fish fishermen and stuff and stay home a little bit more. So, but Tim asked a question right here. He said, "How do you guys feel about throwing big worms? I only have confidence in worms up to 7.5 inches, but I do know that guys throw 10-inch ones and have success. Do you guys vary your lengths?"
Yeah, I mean, I'll throw not flipping or Texas rig, but on a C rig, I'll throw anywhere from 7.5 to 14 without hesitation.
Yeah,
I had a good day years ago catching bass on Jordan with the old jig and pig with it was an 11-inch worm, but I bit like an inch and a half off when I put it on. It was on that old Carolina night crawl. And like a big June bug, 10-inch worm.
Oh, you put a worm on the jig?
Yep, jig and worm. That's great late offshore, like rock piles, points, ledges that just slowly moving that thing along. It's good in August,
dude. The big worm thing still works a lot of places. I mean, Lake Eufaula, Alabama is really known for big worms, but so is the Tennessee River system is known for big worms. I mean, you can get away with them here in North Carolina too. I mean, really, what your biggest thing, Tim, with throwing big worms to have confidence is being able to really dial in your hook set, right? And in order to do that, you got to have the right rod, the right line, and the right hook. And so you can do one of a couple things with those big worms. You can do what a lot of guys do that don't own the long neck hook from One Cast Fishing. You can thread that hook, especially if it's like a 5. You can try to thread it down further into the worm where your line is going to be inside the worm to get that hook point further down. Or you can go out and buy like 11-aught hooks for those really, really big worms. I don't think people give bass enough credit for how much vacuum power they have to get a big bait into their mouth. Even the small ones, even the 2-pounders, right?
And a lot of times they're sucking up, and it's not always from the back. They'll hit from the front, from the side,
right,
and from all different angles. So it's like when they suck up, it's like if you watch videos, like they may have some of it hanging out both sides of their mouth.
Correct. Yep. And they're gonna get a lot of that worm in their mouth, but they're gonna get a lot of that hook in their mouth too. And that's where that whole, that slacklining thing comes from, right? Like where you really like let them take the bait, lean forward, or release your bail and let the line go out as they're taking it, and then give them that good, sideways hook set on a big Carolina rig or something, or a Texas rig, something like that. But man, big ribbon tail, big bull worms, just big worms in general. It's a great offshore bait, dude. Like, and it generates big bites.
Big worm Texas rig and brush piles.
Yes.
Deep brush piles.
Yep. Yeah. The one thing I'll say about big worms and brush piles, depending on the kind of brush that you're fishing, if it's really like treacherous, I try to stay away from like big ribbon tail worms. Just because I feel like the worms, a lot of times the ribbon tails get wrapped up a lot on, depending on what the cover is. Right. And so therefore I'll throw like a big, like more of a straight tail type worm or a spade shaped tail and stuff where it's not getting wrapped around a lot of things. But man, like ribbon tail worms, the big culprits, the big Zoom monster worms, like those worms have worked forever, dude. And it's another one of those baits, kind of like a big football head jig in the summertime, where if you're trying to eliminate catching small bass only and you want to get the biggest fish in the bottom that's lazy and fat, like that's a really great way to do it. And Pete and I, we talk all the time about hating to throw that dang Carolina rig and stuff, but I'm telling you right now, like Derek Letnin's doing it right now in the MPFL, and he's catching big fish doing it, right? And guys, and especially in the Carolinas, the ones that were here when these lakes were filled in, that is pretty much their bait. Some of these guys have 4 or 5 Carolina rigs with giant worms and brush hogs and all sorts of stuff rigged up on their front deck. They don't throw anything else, man. So
2 baits from the Carolinas, everyone better know how to do.
Shaky head.
Shaky head. Yes,
You better throw. You come down here, you better throw a dang shaky head.
I'm telling you, won a lot of money on a shaky head, dude.
Black
Oh, yeah.
orange shaky head.
Yep, won a lot of money on a shaky head.
Yeah,
And I'll
for
tell you
sure.
that, you know, Tim was asking about modifications of soft plastics. It may not be a modification topic, but it's definitely a soft plastic selection topic. Like especially when you're throwing a shaky head or a Carolina rig, like you really. Especially if you have a multi-species bass tournament where it's like spotted bass and largemouth, like there are soft plastics that work better than others. They really do. So, you know, a lot of guys will throw a Zoom trick worm on a shaky head, but maybe they don't want the trick worm. Maybe they want something a little bit more slender that has a lot more action. And I'll tell you, that's another thing too, Tim, and for the group, like you don't realize how much action your bait has without you moving it. Like in the water, right? So what I mean by that is you can ask Pete about our last tournament and you can ask our buddies that fish with us. Like when we tell you to dead stick that bait, a lot of times we mean like don't move it at all, like and just chill and wait for it to get bit. Because as that bait's falling down, it stops, but it doesn't stop moving. It'll sit there and do this because there's underwater current seams. The wind has an effect on it. The bait, its action itself. There's a lot of movement going on down there without you sitting there shaking the rod tip. In fact, I think a lot of times when you're sitting there shaking it, it doesn't look nearly as natural as you just letting it do its thing. And I feel like I have more confidence and get more bites by letting the bait actually do its thing.
Yep. Yeah, I was just going to mention Deep Creek's 10-inch worm. Nick, it's a really good big worm. The 8-inch and the 10-inch paddle tail, and then they've got I think they've got a 9-inch too. But then they also have a 10-inch ribbon tail worm that's really good. And then
I like that Z bait rib bulb tail. It's probably like 8 inches long, Pete.
yeah, I think it is. Yep. I think it's
super slender, smooth, and it's just got that bulb tail and it just floats straight up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that hog wallow that 6 cents makes is a pretty big bait. I don't think it's 10 inches, but it's pretty close. It's like 7.5.
I think it's 6.5 or 7 in the hog wallow. That's a good. I like throwing that on a Carolina rig too. There's quite a few baits I really like throwing on a Carolina rig.
Yep. Big.
Depends on what the fish
like,
want. Yeah, that's my go-to. Is a big old 10-inch
big lizard. Yep.
Yeah.
7.5.
And I've seen Pete lay into him with a big old 10-inch lizard before on certain lakes around here, and it makes a big difference too. Because I'm not saying that 2-pounders won't eat it, but I'm saying that 4+ pounders will eat it. And I've seen them eat it.
They really like to eat it. I don't think I've ever caught a 2-pounder on that big lizard.
And you got to give them a second too, man. Like, you know, Pete gets a bite or I get a bite on Carolina rig. Like, it's not just like thump, set the hook. Like it's thump and give them a second and get into them. I mean, there's times where you let them eat it too long though, and you really hurt yourself because it's down their gullet and stuff, and you're hooking them in some vital areas. So you gotta. That's why I said, Tim, like just be, fish that thing and you'll start to figure it out real quick. If you're giving them 4 seconds with it and it's always down their gullet, give them 2 and see how that changes the way.
If you're giving them, I'll usually 2 count, like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and then let them have it. Typically, that's enough. If you're doing that and you're not getting a hook in them, then they're not a big fish, and you're fine to not worry about it. Those big ones, those big ones, you give them 2 seconds and you're going to get a hook in them. I promise you, every time.
Yeah.
And if you don't, they're not bigger. They're probably 2-pounders, but those big ones, when they eat that big bait, they eat that sucker. Like,
yeah.
They're not sitting there like picking it up by the tail, unless you're throwing that dang. The only one I have them do that's that like jelly worm that's like 27.5 inches long. You gotta let everything eat that joker for a minute. And I have caught some fish on it. I don't have confidence in it. I think that one's 17 or something like that.
I got some on the wall. They're massive, dude. They're like
yeah.
this big, like
and they eat them. But you better let them eat them for a minute.
Those are really good worms. Those really giant worms outside of like the TVA and here and stuff. They're really good worms to throw on shell bars down in Florida. On the Harris Chain or the St. Johns River. Man, those fish are, those Florida stream bass are so aggressive and stuff, and they'll crush those things. So if you're going down to Florida, make sure you take some big worms with you, especially now, because a lot of those fish are offshore, and you can drag a rig or drag a Texas rig or whatever, drag a Carolina rig or Texas rig and catch some big old bass doing that. So,
yeah, it's getting to be that time of year.
It is, man. It's one of my favorite times of year is to sit there, and I love being able to get into a spot and just kind of set up camp and catch fish pretty much all throughout the day, and you'll go in waves like Pete and I faced in our last tournament. Like we'd get a bite window, it'd go on for a few minutes and then it'd shut down, and we give it another 10, 15 minutes and then pick back up again. We catch one or two more out of there. So it's one of those deals where if you're confident that the fish are there, like it's a great opportunity to play around with different baits, right? So if you're catching like 114s and 2-pounders maybe on a drop shot, then you pick a jig up and you're catching 3+, and then you pick a big old worm up and you're catching 4+, and you just play around with your baits, big flutter spoons and stuff. It's getting to be that time of year, and it's definitely one of my favorite. When you can locate them on your sonar, not forward facing, but your side scan and down scan, and you know that there's a pile of bass down there, man, it's so fun. You don't even have to turn your scope on. You just chuck that thing out there and wait for that anticipation. And it's always exciting time for me.
Yep, for sure.
But yeah. Nick Kincaid said, opposite end of the spectrum. Tell us about the weedless Neds and dead sticking it. I mean, Ben, that's a you bait more than us for sure.
I mean you like use,
oh yeah.
I mean, you just put on whatever plastic you want on there, or figure out what they're wanting that day, and you just, if you're going down the bank, right, with that weedless Ned, you can get in some of those, a little bit thicker stuff, lay downs and all, or grass that you're not going to get, hung up all the time on it, and you can just pop it and rip the grass off. You just let it sit there, flip it under docks that way too, or I've done it in winter in like 20 foot of water, catching 6-pounders out of like massive laydowns on the bottom.
Yeah.
Just you had to let it sit there for like 30 seconds.
I look at a Ned rig as like the deep version of a wacky worm. Like a whack usually can catch them pretty much anywhere in the shallows, any time of the year really, but specifically, spring through, certain times in the fall. But that Ned rig is like the deep version of the wacky. I mean, it's a do nothing bait, but it seems to really show out, especially in your northern fisheries. But I think a lot of guys discount it for largemouth fishing, and it really can be a great. I mean, guys were catching it at Lake Norman or using it at Lake Norman in the open. I ran into Matt McBee, and he was throwing around a Ned rig. I mean, really at the ends of docks and stuff, in around brush piles. And it's just one of those baits, like especially if there's fry garters and they're really not chasing things and stuff like that. It's a great bait to throw around fry garters outside of a whack or a koiki ball and stuff. And it just seems to be one of those baits that you just let kind of do its thing. And
I've always got one rigged up, and if it gets tough or I'm having a hard time figuring them out, I have super confidence in that is maybe one of the highest confidence finesse baits that I go to work on it.
Do you ever fish a skirted Ned bait?
I have,
like a turd with a skirt on it.
Yeah, I have. They work well. I like that. It's easier to tell kind of on scope now, but it's one of those days like when they come up and nose to it. And so like they're not really reacting to it, a reaction bite. They have to come over, but they won't commit right away. Mm-hmm. And so like there's a snap little reaction. Sometimes like you see it's same principle like if you're bed fishing and he's looking right at it and you pop your rod, they'll just react to it. And so I like it for that because that skirt will flare.
Yeah.
And then I also think under those things, maybe some of that movement down there might get them to bite a little bit more.
So Tim's got a great question. What bait technique? I'll hit Pete first with this. What bait technique do each of you have the most confidence in?
Jig or Texas rig. They're sort of interchangeable, so I'll say either one of those two.
Okay. Ben,
Yeah.
what's yours?
Same.
Same.
And then
I'm gonna go ahead.
I mean, maybe we should do top 3 because then we'll get some variation.
So I mean, yeah, we can do that. I'll kind of break it down like top, mid, water depth, and then bottom bait, right?
Let's do
So
that.
top water bait for me is definitely a pop R. Like it is my most confident like bait to use on the top of the water column. I love a buzz bait, I love frog, but yeah, I can pretty much fish a pop R anywhere for the most part. Mid range, man, for me it's a spinner bait. I've built a lot of confidence with a bladed jig these last couple of years and caught a lot of fish on them, and I love it. But a spinner bait just seems to always be one of my go-to baits. And then finally is a shaky head. Like shaky head, I can fish it in the shallowest water because I can downsize my weight to a 1/4 ounce, or I can upsize my weight to a 1/2 or a 3/4 ounce and fish deep water. So shaky head, and that doesn't always mean a worm on a shaky head either. I put a lot of creature baits on shaky heads. It's a very good technique, especially if you're on a spotted bass fishery. A creature bait on a shaky head on a spotted bass fishery seems to do really well for me. But that's going to be my top 3.
Yep. So top, it doesn't matter. I have confidence in every single top water bait I'll throw. Walking bait, pop R, buzz bait, frog, prop bait. It doesn't matter. I have super confidence in whatever it is the fish want. I can't pick just one because I honestly, I'm confident in any of those that I can go out and catch them. It's just a matter of which one they want to eat that day. Mid, I'm with Trey. It's spinner bait. I mean, I grew up fishing spinner bait all over the place. I can whack them on a dang bladed jig too, but spinner bait's always going to be my go-to for 99.9% of those mid depth applications. And then bottom is going to be again a jig or a Texas rig. They're interchangeable in my book. You get a lot more small fish on a Texas rig and still catch some big ones. A jig is what I'm going to pick up when I'm looking for those bigger bites or better bites. So those would be, and I know that seems like a cop out with the top water, but I'm just super confident. Spent a lot of time. I love throwing
the
the
one
top
I
water.
have the least confidence.
That'd
in.
probably be the one I have the least confidence in, but I know I can catch them on it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
But buzz bait, pop R, and it's funny because Trey and I never don't have pop bars tied on, but 3 years ago, neither one of us threw it at all, period. Until Trey had a day where he went out and whacked him. He was like, dude, you got to try it. And then I was like, let's do it. And we went to a lake.
No, I take credit for it.
I take
credit for Trey and the pop
No, he
bar.
still didn't have it till they caught him on Falls Lake the day that him
It
and
was
Charles
so. It was
went.
really Charles who actually called
Yeah.
me today. Charles and I had a tournament out on Falls Lake, and I think I owned like, I don't know, like 4 like generic pop R's at the time. And now my boxes are loaded with Ricos and KVD splashes, man. And like, we just had one of those days, and it's like any bait. And we tell people about this all the time with jigs, you know, like it's just one of those baits. Like if you don't throw it, you don't have a lot of confidence in it. Same thing, Tim, like if you don't throw a worm over 7.5 inches, well, of course you're not going to have confidence in it. So it's just one of those deals. But yeah, man, like I'm with you, Pete. Like I'll throw a buzzer, I'll throw a frog, I'll throw a walking bait, but you know, like I'm always going to have a pop R. It just seems to be one because I can work it like a spook too. So that's kind of a multi-purpose bait. But Ben, what do you got? I mean, is it, you're going to go, what do you
Pop
think for your
R.
top pop R?
Or jig, where it's a dragging a football jig, flipping jig. I mean, if I want to expand it
You're
out,
a swim jig guy too. Don't get
I do.
you like
I
a swim jig.
I do like a swim jig, and especially that weedless swim jig, the 3/8 ounce. That's probably my favorite, one of my favorite
Yeah.
jigs. But also moving baits. A lot of times, you guys would be throwing spinner baits and chatter baits, bladed jigs. I like throwing them too. I actually prefer throwing a spinner bait probably more than a bladed jig. I just hardly throw a spinner bait because if I'm out and I got cameras and stuff, I'm throwing a bladed jig because
well, plus you're fishing, you know, when you fish your lake, you got a ton of vegetation. And a spinnerbait can be really good in vegetation too, so don't discount it. You just got to have the right blades and the right spinnerbait for a good grass situation. You know, like that was
Gotta
one
be
of
the
the
right
bites.
kind of grass too.
Yeah, right kind of grass. Like coontail, probably not the best, but man, like at Lake Eufaula, like throwing a spinnerbait up against the gator grass. I mean, you know, in those conditions, those fish would come out from that grass and absolutely smoke it. And it seemed to be working better than a bladed jig, you know, and it's just one of those things like you can just keep it straight and run it completely parallel with a grass line. And I know guys that throw it right dead middle in the grass. I mean, there's certain grass you can do that. Eelgrass you can get a spinnerbait through sometimes, depending on how thick or thin it is. So there's a lot of different applications. But yeah, those were pretty much. Go ahead.
My third one, I don't throw it nearly as much as I used to. A lot of confidence in a drop shot.
Oh,
and
I forgot about that one.
And for me, it comes from when I first started fishing a lot, and I got my boat like 12 years ago, and I joined a bass club and all. Like all these guys with, you know, old guys were throwing the shaky head and, you know, killing me a lot of times just because that's shaky head in North Carolina, and they knew spots and stuff. So it was like I was always watching videos and learning, like, what can I do to differentiate myself and try to learn? So I just, well, let's go finesse, let's go drop shot. And so, like, I throw it shallow, I throw it deep. Like when guys were throwing Carolina rigs, I'd be throwing drop shots and stuff out there. And so I just got a lot of confidence in it.
Yeah, I mean, drop shots are. Yeah, they're a great bait, man. Like I have a lot of confidence in drop shot. Everybody knows that. But if I can not throw that and throw something else, like you can't. I've gotten really good at like power fishing a drop shot, but I would prefer to power fish a jig or a shaky head or something like that. So, Nick said, "What's going to be the winning weight at Gaston next week, Pete? What do you think?"
It's going to be. I mean, we're going to have it with 23.34. So,
okay, 23.34. You heard him, Nick. I'm going to go with 19.33. Is going to be the winning weight at Gaston next week.
All I know is we're going to have it, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Rattling shaky head, Nick. Yeah. Go ahead, Ben.
Or have the big spots been showing up?
No, I don't know. Largemouth have, so I don't care about the spots.
Yeah. I don't know. That's what we're going to try to find out.
It's supposed to be 73 degrees that day.
Yeah.
Rainy.
Tim, appreciate you, man. Like anything you guys need, obviously, you know, we love when you guys drop comments in the comment section. We you know, we all have our own opinions. There's no right answer to any of this stuff, but you know, we're gonna give you whatever tips and tricks that we have, so that we can help, you know, building this culture. I don't have anything else for the evening, gentlemen.
Nope. I'm ready to eat dinner and go to bed because 3 a.m. comes early.
Enjoy.
All right. Hey, folks, thanks for joining us on Fishing Friday Live. Be sure to check out all of our episodes that are recorded that you guys don't get to see on Fishing Friday Live. They're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We drop one every week, usually on Thursdays. So make sure you guys check those things out as you're driving into work. You want to listen to a good podcast, go on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, leave us a review. It really helps the algorithm. Check out all those partners we mentioned at the beginning of the show. You guys go out and do some fishing and help us continue growing your culture of anglers, helping anglers one cast at a time.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, God, it's a toad, son. It's a toad, dude.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.